Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Wellness Wednesday with Brit. Today, we have a very special interview with two women that are very near and dear to my heart. We're going to be talking about parenting and what it's like to parent when you have a chronic illness. I know most parents out there can attest to the fact that even under ideal situations, parenting is difficult. But when you have a chronic illness, it takes on a whole nother level of struggle. So the first interview we're going to have is with my very good friend, Jennifer, out of Florida. And our second interview is a surprise guest. So this episode is going to be a little bit longer, but just hang tight, watch it all. I promise you it'll be worth it. Let's go ahead and get into it. So today we're here with Jennifer Kess. She's one of my really good friends just outside of Daytona Beach, Florida. We're here on Zoom, and this is really special for me because I absolutely love Jennifer, and it's great to be able to have friends that are in the same community that can understand what you're going through. So today we have Jennifer, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about her experiences having a chronic illness and raising children. So Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy I'm able to help do this for you.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I have to have you.
Thank you.
So Jen, can you give us just a little bit of insight as to what you're facing, what your chronic illnesses are, and just give us paint a picture briefly?
Sure. I actually took notes because I knew that I would forget something if I didn't write it down. So if you see me look down, it's because I'm glancing at my notes. But I suffer from hypothyroidism. So my body doesn't produce enough of the thyroid hormone, and that basically controls everything in your body. Mm-hmm. And I ended up finding out I had that after my second son, and he'll be 10 this year. I just didn't feel right. And so I went to the doctor. I thought it was I was tired because I had a 3-year-old, a new baby, a house to run, just, being mom. And but I still didn't feel right, even when I was sleeping, and I was gaining a lot of weight even after the baby. And so I will never forget it. The doctor told me, just like you check everything under the hood of your car, let's do a whole blood, workup and see what's going on. And I found out that I had it. So I take medicine for that. Going on about 10 years that I've been doing that. I also suffer from high blood pressure. It runs in the family. My mom has it. Her brothers and sisters all had it. I don't know much about my dad's side of the family and how their health was. But I actually developed that after my third baby. I had it during my pregnancy, and it just never went away. And then the thing that I suffer most from is anxiety. I got postpartum after my daughter. Never really talked about it, kind of hid it because it's something that you don't know how people are going to perceive you when you have something like that. But I feel like mental health needs to be talked about more. And so that's why I felt that I needed to do this interview with you also, because I just feel like it needs to get out more.
Definitely. Well, you definitely have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So with all of that you're dealing with, how has that played a role in you being a mom? I can imagine that it causes a lot of, struggles.
It does. The anxiety makes me have a short fuse. I don't have a lot of patience with the kids. My oldest is 13. My middle son will be 10 this year in July, and then my daughter will be 5 in September. And so there are days that I struggle, and I have to put on a brave face because I have to be mom. But inside I'm crying or I'm angry, and I try to control it. But some days not so much. So the kids know when I'm having a bad day and to just kind of leave mom alone. But then, you know, I have my really good days and we have fun, or, you know, we go to the beach, or, you know, do fun activities together. But it is hard to find a balance between the both, because when you do have a bad day, you want to just hide in bed or under the blankets and just in a dark room and leave me alone, don't bother me. And when I have bad anxiety attacks, I get migraines. And that makes that 10 times worse, because along with the migraines comes like with nausea and feeling you're going to throw up. And so it's just trying to find a balance with everything that I possibly can.
Right. Wow. So you have migraines on top of that.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Those are also hereditary, I've been told.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, so we have talked about like how it causes you to struggle, and obviously there's a ton more challenges that you probably haven't even, you know, this is just scratching the surface. But what have you found, like what kind of workarounds, what tips or ways that you've found that work for you to be able to parent while dealing with chronic illness?
Self-care. That is the most important thing, besides speaking to a doctor and getting help. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. I've told many people that if you feel like you can't control it yourself, because at first I didn't want to talk about it, so I was self-medicating with Benadryl so I could sleep at night, because that's when my anxiety would flare up. And it came from as I got older, I realized that it was coming from childhood and things that happened in the past. And like I told you, we could write a book on it and it would be intense. But speaking to a doctor, getting help, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't feel like doing that, self-care, number one, hot showers, taking time for yourself. I know right now I can't, but nail salons, I go and get my nails done just by myself, get my hair done. I also, I just started writing in a journal, and doing that I know has helped me a lot.
So you mentioned, you know, things like getting your hair done, going to the nail salon. On that, in that same vein of activities, what are you doing? Any projects or, I mean, especially right now with COVID going on, the crisis that we're facing, you know, everybody's at home and we're all kind of on top of each other.
Yeah.
So what kind of, I mean, and this can go for, you know, right now, but also, you know, what you plan to do in the future. Are there any like passion projects or things that you do that really like bring you joy, things that set your soul on fire?
I've actually redid my entire house. I have started on the first floor and painted, and I'm finishing the upstairs between my bedroom and the kids' bedroom hallway, but I've painted everything in my house, the walls, just to keep myself busy. I redecorate. I love doing that. So I redecorated. I switched out things. Amazon people probably hate me because they're always at my house. But and then taking time just for myself, like reading, writing in my journal. But the big thing was painting the entire house.
Well, Jen, you know, I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank
You. I appreciate you opening up to me about, you know, just some of these things that I wasn't even aware of. I mean, we've been friends for
a long time.
Yeah, I mean, if your oldest is 13, I know we were friends for at least a couple of years before that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a very personal thing. And so I appreciate you having the courage to speak about these things. And I applaud you. I really do. I'm so
Thank
proud of
you.
you. You're an amazing mother.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
um,
that.
I am just very grateful to know you. So thank you. We got to wrap up. I know you've got to, take care of the kids. They're,
Yeah,
knocking on the door. But
she's not gonna let me do anything.
thank you so much, Jen, for taking
Yes,
this
thank you
time
for having me.
to do this interview. And just keep keeping on. You got
Yes,
this.
thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, definitely.
All right, see you.
So as promised, my next guest is a very special guest. This is my surprise guest, my mom.
Hi there.
I'm very lucky to be in lockdown with my mom during this time. So she's agreed to give an interview and she has a very unique perspective on parenting with a chronic illness. So this is my mother, Joanne.
Hello.
So thank you so much, Mom, for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
I'm very happy to do it, Brittany.
So I know what you dealt with, but if you could just kind of give everybody that's going to be watching this a little bit of insight as to what kind of chronic illnesses that you face.
Okay. I have chronic back pain due to an accident that I had approximately 30 years ago that never quite healed itself. So it left me with issue with my ligaments in my back, and it is like a constant thing. And in addition, I have fibromyalgia. I have battled cancer 3 times. And right now I'm dealing with the after effects of cancer surgery. And also I have issues with rheumatoid arthritis.
Well, that's a pretty comprehensive list, I'd say. So given everything that you have faced and are facing, um, I can imagine that made being a parent a lot more difficult. A little bit earlier, we talked with Jen, and she gave us her perspective on what it's been like to be a mom with chronic illness. You, I know, obviously, you were a single mom for your kids. So, what was that like, battling chronic illness and being a single parent?
Well, it was very challenging because since I did have 3 children, all in different age groups, I had a teenager, a preteen, and a baby. So it was very challenging. As I said, I had a full-time employment. I had to find uh, activities primarily for my preteen and for my young child. My teenage daughter was at a point where she just kind of thought she could do her own thing, but we all managed just fine. Thankfully, there was a lot of help uh, from my 2 older children, and that was pretty much it. You just take life day to day.
What were some of the things in particular, though, that you would say that you struggled with having a chronic illness?
Primarily, it had to do with my being able to physically do things. I was really inhibited quite a bit, wasn't able, didn't have the strength in my body to do all of the activities that I would have liked, enjoyed doing with my children. Uh, my youngest daughter, being you, really thankfully enjoyed things that did not require a lot of physical activity. We went to the libraries a lot. Uh, we went to just different activities that
Mm-hmm.
I found interesting for her.
For me.
For you.
So, okay, so you mentioned, the activities that we got into, that didn't require a lot of physical exertion on your part.
Mm-hmm.
What other kind of workarounds did you find to kind of combat the weaknesses that you were dealing with in your body to be a successful parent?
Well, as far as the physical things, from time to time, I actually had to have physical therapy. I did, as far as my older children, they were at an age where they required me uh, to be constant in their lives. So it was just a matter of just organizing my time to be there when they needed me, and at the same time, still thinking of what each age group required. It was very challenging, but thankfully we got through it okay.
Definitely. I know I had a great childhood.
I'm glad to hear that.
So do you have any tips in particular that you would, recommendations, things that, especially a single parent who is facing a chronic illness, advice that you could give, even if it's just like one or two things that might make life a little bit easier for them?
Well, one of the really important things that I found is to try and maintain a positive attitude, because I found that when I was thinking in a positive way, even though perhaps physically I wasn't feeling that great, it really helped to get me through each day, just thinking of what bright spots I could put into my day. And it worked out very well. And it's a lot more productive to be positive than it is to be negative. So it works out better all the way around. And the kids are a lot happier too.
I can attest to that. I know, for my viewers out there, I know that, honestly, the way that you parented me, I didn't know that you were sick. I never once, not until I was older, did I know that you were dealing with all of the things that, that you faced. So I'd say you were very successful. I had a great childhood. I had a lot of fun. I have a lot of wonderful memories of my childhood years. So what the workarounds and the ways that you dealt with it, they were very successful, and I just want to thank you for making my life a lot, very, very enjoyable, and had a lot of fun, and I still have fun with you. That's why I don't mind being locked down with you. So thank you, Mom. I really appreciate everything that you've done.
It was my delight and my pleasure. You've been a wonderful daughter. And I hope that you will continue to be a wonderful daughter.
Well, we'll see. All right. Well, Mom, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to get out of your nighttime pajamas and put your daytime pajamas on to talk to me. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, sweetheart.
All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for today, but I will go ahead and put any information. My mom doesn't have social media, unfortunately, not yet, but I will go ahead and put Jen's contact information at the end of the video. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.